Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Hi guys, welcome back to Italian Pod 101. My name is Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. And in this video we're gonna talk about things that you should not do in Italy. Cose da evitare. Things to avoid. Evitare. I've thought about this for a while and I realized that everything has to do with food. And of course I'm excluding things that are not permitted by law, so I'm just talking about manners or anyway things that would make people go like this when you do that. Okay? So if you want to be socially accepted, try to avoid the followings. First of all, let's not order a cappuccino after a meal. Ordinare un cappuccino dopo un pasto. Order a cappuccino after a meal. Pasto is meal. It's a big no-no, okay? You can have coffee. And at most you can have it macchiato, so with a bit of milk inside, but not a cappuccino. That's something that you just order for breakfast or a second breakfast, so let's say till 12-ish. If I hear someone ordering a cappuccino till that time, I'm okay, fine. I'm the first one who does that, actually, because anytime is fine for me, but not after a meal. And if you ask why, it's because we had this believe, and probably it's even true, but anyway, it became a rule not to do that because it's said that milk does not help digestion. So after you eat, you try to avoid a big quantity of milk, okay? So no cappuccino a pranzo o cena. No cappuccino for lunch and dinner. The second thing that it's kind of similar but a bit different is try not to ask for American coffee. Non chiedere, don't ask, un caffè americano, an American coffee, any time of the day, okay? I mean, you're free to do what you want, of course, but if you're in Italy, try to go for espresso, and if it's too much for you, ask it a bit longer. We say lungo, un caffè lungo, so it has more water, but still it's really small, okay? It's not like American coffee. Or with milk, as I said before, macchiato, technically stained, with a bit of milk on top, or cappuccino if it's before 12, okay? But try to avoid the word americano and caffè together, mostly because some people don't even know what it is. I mean, we do know what it is, but it's not common to ask for that, so they would just go like, what? Also because I believe americano, sometimes it's a name of a cocktail, but we don't really associate that with coffee, so yeah, don't do that if you don't want people to go like, scusa cosa? Excuse me, what? Okay? And this was about coffee. Now, let's talk about edible stuff. What is the most common pasta that you know? Spaghetti, right? Some people even think that pasta is just spaghetti. Let's say, for everyone, for once and all, it's not true. We have many kinds of pasta, right? It's like corta or lunga, penne, farfalle. There are really many shapes. Spaghetti is the most common one, okay? Fine. Please, do not cut them. Like, no. In Italy, you see that only sometimes with children. Like, I remember my grandma and my mom used to like cut those because they didn't want me to choke on them. So that was acceptable. But that's the only thing. Like, that's when you do that for kids. But if you're having spaghetti, you commit to eat them in their length. Tagliare gli spaghetti. So, tagliare, cut, gli spaghetti, no. Some people are even upset when you're cooking spaghetti and you break them, like in order to fit them in the pot. That's also something that you should avoid. I mean, some people do that, Italians as well, but a lot of people are just like, you are betraying your country, so you should just leave right now. So if you can avoid to do that, just in case. But for sure, when you're eating them, don't use the knife. And technically, I know it's tolerated and a lot of people do that. technically you're not even supposed to use the spoon. So you're not allowed, let's say, to help yourself with the spoon and like turn them on the fork, okay, to wrap them around. You just have to use the fork and the plate. And if you cannot do that, you don't eat spaghetti. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm just saying you can do whatever you want. Another thing that you're not supposed to do, and this applies to all Italians as well, not only you as a tourist or as a foreign, let's all remember that it's not a good manner to rifiutare il cibo, to refuse, to say no thanks to food. Okay? Rifiutare il cibo. Of course you can refuse that when they're asking you to buy it, but I mean in a family or like in a group of friends, and especially with grandmas, really endure it and try. Worst thing, just accept it and then take forever to eat that, or just like have a bite and then put it there. It's still better than saying no thanks, because people really get offended and you don't want to do that, right? When we offer you some food, it's because we're really trying to share with you what we have and to show you that we care for you. So unless you're like allergic and you're gonna die if you eat something, that's fine. Try to avoid to refuse food. And coffee as well, you know, when people are just like, hey, let's go grab a coffee, or I'll make you coffee when you go visit them at home. Yes, please. Sì, grazie. Molto volentieri. Gladly. Okay, you can say, no, really, sono pieno, I'm full. And that's kind of acceptable, but you should always have some space. Yeah, come prepared with a big stomach and get ready to eat a lot. But if there is something you should not eat in Italy, okay, not even ask for, like the Americano, but that was for drinking, but for eating, please don't chiedere la pasta Alfredo. Ask for Alfredo's pasta. We have no idea what that is or who even Alfredo is. I know it's a thing in the world, but the first time people asked me, I was just like, who? Is it like a famous restaurant or something? It's like the Napolitan sauce, right? I know it's famous all over the world, but it's not what we associate that with. And in particular with Alfredo, we have no clue. Like, maybe restaurants, because they've been asked a lot, but it's not a thing. So, I mean, you can ask for Alfredo's pasta, but I can't guarantee what you're gonna get. Maybe avoid that. Just go with what they have on the menu, or for the classic carbonara, sugo, pesto, and you'll be fine. So those were the 5 things that you should not do in Italy, but I have an extra one which is not related to food, but also really important, okay? Non avere fretta. Don't be in a hurry, okay? Like, really, first of all, because you're probably on vacation, so don't do that. It's better for you to relax. But also, if you're living here or if you're visiting for a longer period, just put your mind at ease. Don't be in a hurry, because it's gonna go wrong. I'm not saying that we're all just relaxed and not doing stuff. No, we do have times and schedules, but you have to keep in mind that transportation may not be punctual, like buses, trains, anything. Sometimes there are strikes and people on the street are also really slow, like with the car. Some people just park where they shouldn't, so you maybe can't pass by, or people just stop to say hi to other people that they meet on the street. So relax, okay? Or like people like to talk, right? So even when you're buying something, maybe the guy before you knew the stuff, the clerk, so they're talking a bit. Relax, take your time. You're in Italy, okay? Let me know in the comments if there are things that you're worried about, like if you should or not do something. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you still haven't done it, you can sign up for your free lifetime account on ItalianPod101.com in order to learn Italian in the easiest, fastest, and most fun way possible. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Ciao ciao. Not too soon, because remember, we like to take it slow. I'm kidding. Ciao ciao. Bye bye.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning. where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, can busy people actually learn a language? You yourself probably have an answer to this question, right? But whether you can or can't actually has a bit more to do with your mindset than anything else. And in this guide, you'll discover 1. Is it possible for busy people to learn a language and the mindset needed? 2. Mental bandwidth, the one thing that can make or break your language goals. And 3. 5 mindset tricks to make time for language. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Talking Online PDF cheat sheet. Learn the must-know internet slang and all the internet-related vocab and phrases in your target language with this PDF cheat sheet. And second, the 40 words and phrases for ordering food writing workbook. With this free resource, you'll pick up must-know words and phrases for the restaurant and practice writing them out as well. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Can busy people actually learn a language? Part 1. Is it possible for busy people to learn a language and the mindset needed? So, can busy people actually learn a language? What do you think? Leave us a comment and let us know. As much as we want to say yes, it's more of a yes or no depending on the person. Why yes? Yes, because many of our members are busy and are learning with our system. And some of you who are watching also fall into this camp. But it also depends on the person because it's more of a mindset thing. Either you think you have time or you don't. For example, many of our members fall into the group of can learn and can find the time, even if they're busy. If you're busy and still want to learn, if you look around, you can always find 5 or 10 minutes a day, like on a commute. Now, if your mindset is the opposite, if you think you can't learn a language or you don't have time, you won't even try, even if you had a resource that was proven to work. Part 2. Mental bandwidth, the one thing that can make or break your language goals. And if you think about it, if you had all the time in the world but felt like you couldn't learn a language, you wouldn't try either. Again, this is why it comes down to the mindset and why it all depends on each individual person. Either you think you can or you think you can't. But it may not always be this black and white either. It can also depend on your mental bandwidth too. Think back to your school days, those few days before exams. It got really busy and you had to stop everything to study, right? You were probably thinking, if I can just get through studying this week and take the test, then next week I can finally start relaxing and doing other things. And if someone asked you if you wanted to hang out, you would say no, because you're busy. But chances are you still managed to spend at least 30 minutes on YouTube or social media. Meaning you did have some time, even if you were busy. But the test was occupying your mind and taking up all that bandwidth. So it's also possible that we just don't have the mental bandwidth because we're overwhelmed. And this is a genuine reason for not being able to learn when you're busy. Don't worry, in the next part, we'll show you how to get some bandwidth so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Part 3. 5 mindset tricks to make time for language. So if you've gotten this far, you understand that it is possible to start learning a language, even if you're busy, that you can find the time, but it mostly comes down to your mindset. So how can you develop the mindset? So when you're too busy, it feels like you're overwhelmed and like you don't have control of your time. Well, there are a few things you can do to gain some control of your time, have some breathing room, and learn a bit of language. First, always set small, measurable goals. This is something that we talk a lot about here. For example, learn for 10, 15, or 20 minutes every day. Learn 100 words in 1 month, which means learning 3 to 4 words a day. And the mindset behind this is just being realistic with your goals and what you can do. Because if you're busy, you may not have 1 or 2 hours. And this is a strict rule, especially when starting out with new goals and languages. Always stick to small, measurable goals. Second, lowering your goals and expectations is okay when things get super busy. If you couldn't learn all 100 words for the month and only got up to 40 or 60, that's okay. If you tried learning on Monday and Tuesday but skipped Wednesday and Thursday, that's okay. Sometimes you have to shift priorities, and prioritizing things is a secret to a successful life. You may not get to the goal you wanted to achieve today, but you can get to it next week. Third, it's okay to put language on pause if life gets in the way. Just like with that last point, you can always come back and reach your goal a little later. We often see learners put language on pause, come back later. Some even come back years later. But the key is to come back. Fourth, avoid the all-or-nothing mindset at all costs. And an all-or-nothing mindset is something you'll see in beginners and perfectionists. When you have this mindset, you'll say, language learning requires hours, so there's no point in learning for a few minutes today. But something is better than nothing, and even 5 to 10 minutes of review adds up in the grand scheme. And in the grand scheme, it's more important to be consistent, even if it's just for a minute a day, rather than study for hours once a week. The brain just doesn't work that way. Fifth, do you have a slowdown or relaxing routine that you do on the weekends or whenever you have free time? And if you didn't do it, you'd feel overwhelmed? Leave us a comment and let us know what it is. For some, it could be reading, watching TV, or going to a cafe and doing nothing for a bit. You're there on your own, you don't have much to do in front of you, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes. And if you're settled, you start feeling in control. And that's the point you have some mental bandwidth. You can start doing some time management and plan your week out. You can put in a few minutes of language learning. But if you don't slow down and if you feel overwhelmed, you could have the easiest possible way to learn a language, and you still wouldn't do it. So, back to you. If you were busy, do you think you'd be able to learn a language? Leave us a comment. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Do you record yourself speaking your target language? If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. And in this video we're gonna talk about time. Che ore sono? Che ore sono? Che ore sono? It's a question. What time is it? First of all, let's clarify that even though the word tempo does mean time, we also use that for weather, like che tempo fa? How's the weather like? So we don't say che tempo è for time, but we use the word ore, which is hours. The good news is that you don't have to worry about singular or plural, because you can either say che ora è, so singular, un'ora, an hour, che ora è, or che ore sono, plural, hours, che ore sono. Even though for the question you don't have to think about singular or plural, you just have to combine it, right? So if you use ora, then you use the singular form of the verb to be, ora è, che ora è, while if you use the plural ore, then you use the plural form of the verb to be, right? Che ore sono. That's the only thing that you have to think for the answer as well. And what I mean is that when you say 1, so it's 1 a.m. or p.m., we're gonna see how to say that later, you just have to say è luna. È luna. Because it's singular, right? Just 1 hour. So è luna. And that's the only case when you use è. For the rest, you just use sono, plural, because it's always more than 1 if it's not luna, right? Follow me. For example, sono le 2. Sono le 2. It means it's 2 o'clock. Che ore sono? Sono le 10. What time is it? It's 10. Sono le 10. If you want to add sono le 10 in punto, it means it's 10 o'clock. In punto. Punto. Punto literally means dot. So it's just 10. Le 10 in punto. While in English you say, for example, it's 5 past 4. 5 past 4, so 5 minutes past 4 o'clock. We just add and to the hours to say the minutes as well. So we say sono le 4, it's 4, e 5. Sono le 4 e 5. And that implies 5 minutes. Sono le 4 e 5 minuti. It's 4 and 5 minutes. 5 past 4. Sono le 4 e 10 minuti. 10 past 4. Sono le 4 e 15 minuti. It's 15 past 4. Of course, when you want to say the time, you have to know numbers as well, but there are some expressions that don't involve numbers, not at all, but that can help sometimes. For example, if you don't want to say and 15, so 15 minuti, 15 minuti, you can say un quarto, a quarter. 12, 12, e un quarto. Sono le 12 e un quarto. It's 12 and 15. Be careful though, because when it's half, we don't say 2 quarters past 12, but we use the word mezza. Mezza, which literally means half. And we use that with the female exception, because ora is feminine. Ora. So, sono le 12 e mezza. 12 e mezza. Sono le 9 e mezza. It's 9:30. Or it's 12:30. 12 e mezza. 9 e mezza. Or, of course, you can say 12 e 30. Or 9 e 30. 9 and 30. 12:30. 9 e 30. While if it's 12:45, so you can either say 12 e 45, 45, 45, or you can say 1:45. E l'una meno un quarto. Meno literally means less, minus. So it's 1 minus a quarter. Minus a quarter. E l'una meno un quarto. L'una meno un quarto. 15 minuti all'una. 15 minutes to 1. And this meno word, which as I said means minus, can be used with other numbers as well. For example, le 2 meno 10. 10 minutes to 2. Le 3 meno 5. 5 minutes to 3. Le 3 meno 5. Of course, when you're asking what time it is, it's kind of obvious, like if it's day or night, right? But if you want to specify, you can say è l'una del mattino. It's 1 a.m. Mattino is morning. Del mattino, so of the morning. L'una del mattino. Or l'una del pomeriggio. Afternoon. Del pomeriggio. Pomeriggio. And talking about parts of the day, we have mattino, as we just said, it's morning. Let's say, odio svegliarmi presto al mattino. I hate waking up early in the morning. Odio, I know it's a strong word, but it's true. Odio, I hate. Svegliarmi, waking up. Svegliarmi. Presto, early, presto. Al mattino. In the mornings. Odio svegliarmi presto al mattino. Let me sleep. In the middle of the day, we have midday. Mezzo giorno. As I said before, mezza means half, but also in the middle. So mezzo giorno, the half of the day, in the middle of the day. Mezzo giorno. Then we have pomeriggio, pomeriggio, afternoon, afternoon, pomeriggio, sera, evening, sera, and then notte, when it's night, right? Notte. And same as midday, we have midnight. So if midday was mezzogiorno, midnight will be mezzanotte. Mezzanotte. Mezza just because notte is feminine. Mezzanotte. While mezzo, giorno. Dormo, I sleep, sempre, always, before, prima, di mezzanotte. Mezzanotte. I always sleep before midnight. Dormo sempre prima di mezzanotte. That's a good habit, but it's a lie for me. That's why I hate waking up early in the morning. So if you don't want to ask what time it is, but at what time something happens or happened, then you use the expression a che ora. Literally, at what time. A che ora. What time does the movie start? A che ora inizia il film? A che ora, what time, inizia il film? Does the movie start? So, I have a question for you. A che ora sei nato? What time were you born? A che ora sei nato? Io sono nata, I was born, alle 8 di sera. I was born at 8 o'clock in the evening. Io sono nata alle 8 di sera. I was born at 8 o'clock in the evening. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was useful. My advice is to go and revise numbers as well, because that's something that you need to tell the time. And if you want to be able to have real Italian conversations with native speakers, just click the link in the description and download our PDF lessons to learn Italian in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way possible. I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how to speak more of your target language. Since you're learning the language, then you're very much aware of the importance of speaking, which can be easy if you're an extrovert or hard if you're an introvert. So, how can you speak more if you're on the shy side? Keep watching this month's episode. You'll discover who learns faster, extroverts or introverts, why learning a language can help you become more extroverted, and 5 ways to speak more, even if you're an introvert. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Sport and Exercise Conversation Cheat Sheet. Want to talk about fitness in your target language? You'll learn over 50 words and phrases for sports and exercise with this brand new cheat sheet. Second, the 40 words and phrases for ordering food writing workbook. With this free resource, you'll pick up must-know words and phrases for the restaurant and practice writing them out as well. Third, the top 12 April Fool's phrases. Want to be able to say some outrageous phrases in your target language for April Fool's Day? Then you'll want this April Fool's phrase list. Fourth, can you talk about your bones in your target language? Learn how to say words like skull, ribs, spine, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. Fifth, 20 must-know jewelry vocabulary. Do you know how to say earrings or necklace in your target language? If you don't, then this vocab lesson is for you. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how to speak more of your target language. Part 1. Do extroverts or introverts learn languages faster? If you've ever wondered whether introverts or extroverts learn the language faster, there have been studies done on this. And as you'd expect, extroverts do have an advantage when it comes to speaking and overall conversational skills. Of course, these studies didn't take into account mistakes you may make, such as grammar, vocab, etc. And introverts? Introverts tend to observe and listen more, and tend to be better listeners. Do you agree with these findings? Leave a comment. So the key takeaway is they each have their own advantages. One has something that the other lacks. And that makes sense, doesn't it? If you speak less, your speaking skills will be weaker. And if you want to just speak a lot, you get good at speaking but miss out on the other skills, like listening and reading. So unfortunately, you can't really say who learns faster based on personality alone, just that each one has their advantages and disadvantages. But personality aside, success with a language will always depend on your attitude towards learning itself and how much time you put in. The person that has a better chance of becoming fluent will always be the one that puts in more time to learn, practice, get feedback, adjust with the feedback, and not so much about whether they're extroverted or introverted. But what if you're an introvert who wants to be able to speak more? Is there a way to become more extroverted? Part 2. How to speak more, even if you're an introvert. There are ways to become more extroverted, at least more than your usual self. How? Well, first, by learning a language. When you learn a language, you have a natural desire to connect with native speakers, even if you're shy. Also, native speakers tend to be very supportive and welcoming when you're trying to learn their language. So even if you're shy, it's kind of hard to stay shy in the long run when the people you speak with are so encouraging. In your native language, even if you know a million ways to start a conversation, you might not try to speak to someone because you're worried about whether you have something clever to say or the timing or some other social aspect. But in another language, where you may only know a few phrases, you're not bogged down by that. You just do the best you can with the few phrases you have. Plus, learning a language alone gives you a chance to reinvent yourself. To learn another language is to acquire another soul, as the quote goes. So, learning a language alone puts you on a path towards becoming more extroverted. But if you want specific tips, here are 5 ways to speak more, even if you're an introvert. Number 1. Learn how to listen like an introvert. How can this help you to speak more? Introverts tend to listen more, and the better listener you become, the better questions you can ask, which results in a more meaningful conversation, which also means more speaking time for you. So you can speak more, even if you consider yourself an introvert, by listening well and asking relevant and pertinent questions. By the way, if you want to learn how to ask questions, then check out our top 25 questions you need to know, where you'll learn all about what to ask and answer regarding the most common conversational questions. Number 2, increase speaking time and confidence through experience. Simply put, the more experiences you have in life or experience with certain topics, the more knowledgeable you become. And as your life or work experiences grow, so will your audience. You'll find people coming to you to talk to you. It could be about business, travel, or just your own life stories. If a conversation is about France, and if you've been to France, the conversation will gravitate towards you. Having all that experience makes things easy for you as an introvert. People will come to you, so you don't have to find them. For a language learner, the tricks are to 1. Be knowledgeable about something, and 2. Be able to talk about your experience in the target language. Number 3. Find the right audience. Imagine talking to someone that's not interested in learning languages. They'll give you 100 reasons why they can't learn, never reasons why it might work out for them, right? But when you're talking to an audience that's interested in languages, then you can have a conversation that could go on for hours. So find the right audience to share with. With language learning, it means you need to find native speakers that share the same hobbies or interests as you. Number 4, talk about what you know best. The introvert-extrovert dynamic also depends on how much you know about a topic and what you're most comfortable with. There are topics you may not know enough about, so you won't talk as much. But even the biggest introvert can become a confident speaker once you touch upon a topic they know well. That's where they shine. So if your goal is to be more extroverted, then focus on the things you know about. Or you can always gain experience in topics you don't know much about so you can speak more. Number 5, create opportunities to speak. How? Well, it's hard to stop a stranger and start talking with them without any context, right? But what if you need help finding something at a store, or have a question about a dish at a restaurant? Then it's much easier since you're there with a purpose. So you can create these opportunities by going to a restaurant from the country that speaks your target language and speaking with the staff, or asking a taxi driver a question, or asking staff at an information booth a question. So to recap, if you want to speak more, even if you're an introvert, 1. Listen like an introvert. 2. Increase speaking time and confidence through experience. 3. Find the right audience. 4. Talk about what you know best. And 5. Create opportunities to speak. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how tipping points will bring you closer to your language goals. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Eleonora. Come nella maggior parte dei paesi occidentali, anche in Italia il Capodanno si festeggia il 1° gennaio. È un momento molto atteso e di solito si organizza una grande festa con amici e parenti per poter accogliere l'anno nuovo in allegria, bevendo e mangiando in abbondanza. In questa lezione vi parlerò di come gli italiani festeggiano il Capodanno. Sapete perché gli italiani desiderano mangiare le lenticchie in grande quantità proprio il 1° giorno dell'anno? Vi daremo la risposta alla fine di questo video. Il Capodanno in Italia si inizia a festeggiare dalla notte di San Silvestro, la sera dell'ultimo giorno dell'anno. Di solito a noi italiani piace organizzare una festa con amici e parenti, altrimenti andiamo in piazza, dove sono organizzati eventi speciali. Per esempio, a Bologna, in Piazza Maggiore, viene costruito un grande pupazzo di paglia detto il Vecchione, un simbolo dell'anno vecchio, che viene bruciato allo scoccare della mezzanotte. Proprio come se venisse distrutto tutto l'anno appena finito, con i suoi bei e brutti ricordi. Durante la notte di San Silvestro si mangia e si beve moltissimo. A molti italiani piace aspettare l'anno nuovo anche guardando l'anno che verrà, il grande concerto di musica pop che viene trasmesso in diretta dalla TV nazionale. Attraverso questo programma si può ascoltare della buona musica e si può star certi di non sbagliare il conto alla rovescia fino a mezzanotte, quando viene stappata una bottiglia di spumante per brindare e viene dato il via ai fuochi d'artificio. Il mattino seguente, quasi tutti gli italiani si svegliano molto tardi e vanno direttamente a pranzo a casa dei genitori. Ogni regione ha i suoi piatti speciali, però l'importante in tutta Italia è mangiare un menù ricco ed elaborato. Per esempio i tortellini o le lasagne per primo, il brasato di manzo o il cotechino per secondo. Bisogna restare seduti a tavola quasi tutto il giorno per poter finire tutto. In Italia si dice che porti fortuna indossare della biancheria intima rossa, possibilmente ricevuta in regalo da qualcuno. Questa buffa usanza è in realtà molto antica. Risale all'epoca romana, quando il rosso era il simbolo di prosperità. E ora vi darò la risposta al quiz iniziale. Sapete perché gli italiani desiderano mangiare tante lenticchie proprio il 1° giorno dell'anno? Perché si crede che per ogni lenticchia mangiata si avranno più soldi a disposizione. Com'era questa lezione? Avete imparato qualcosa di interessante? E voi, come festeggiate l'arrivo del nuovo anno nel vostro paese? Lasciateci un commento sul sito italianpod101.com. Arrivederci alla prossima!
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. And in this video we're gonna talk about money. So keep watching and discover about living costs in Italy. Il costo della vita in Italia. Il costo della vita in Italia. So the first thing that you need to live in a country or to live anywhere else in the world is a place to stay at, right? So let's talk about rent. Rent is affitto. Affitto in Italian. To rent is affittare. Affittare. The owner is called proprietario. Proprietario. I know this is hard to say, but it's also kind of satisfying to pronounce it. Proprietario. Proprietario. The owner, while you, the tenant, would be called affittuario. Affittuario. The one that lives in, the one who rents. From affittare, which is to rent, right? The price of the rent really depends on the city and the region that you're in. And of course, if it's in the city, it's more expensive than outside. But on average, we can say that it's 10 euros per meter square. Per square meters, this. That means that for a house that it's about 50 square meters, you're supposed to pay at least 600 euros, okay? Some more useful vocabulary can be contratto, contratto, contract that you have to sign to have a rent, and something that you want to confirm before you sign is the amount of spese condominiali. Spese condominiali, the condo phase, buildings expenses, because sometimes they're not specified, and that's when you will pay more than what you expected, which is not a nice surprise. So better ask before about spese condominiali. Spese condominiali, which are usually about 50, sometimes even more, but it depends on the building, of course. Then we have the bills. So bollette, bollette, bollette are the bills. We have acqua, water, acqua, gas, it's just gas. And for electricity, we don't really say elettricità, but luce, luce, the light, luce, gas, acqua. That's the three main things that you have to pay for. And maybe we want to also put the internet, which is internet in Italian as well. And we can count about, let's say, 100 euros for that. 100 euro, 100 euros, 100 euro. Of course, that also really depends on the usage that you do of it, like how much you spend, how much energy you use. But that's also something that is going to be cut if you can share the house with someone, right? Something else that we need to talk about is transportations, trasporti, trasporti. Here too, it really depends on the city. It goes from 20 to 50 euros per month for the monthly pass for buses and trains. So let's say 50 in the worst case scenario, and the pass is called abbonamento. Abbonamento. Abbonamento mensile, monthly pass, mensile, while settimanale, settimanale is weekly, the weekly pass. Abbonamento settimanale. Maybe you're using a car and 1 liter of gasoline, which is benzina, benzina, is always around €1.40, sometimes even more, rarely less. As for food, considering that the classic Italian breakfast is about, on average, €2, €2, okay, for caffè or cappuccino and brioche, and €1.5 for a liter of milk, latte, €2.50 for a dozen of eggs, una dozzina di uova, If we consider that a pizza can go from 3.5, and I'm not talking about a slice, but a whole pizza, and you may be wondering why that has to be considered, and if you're gonna live here, you're gonna get like us, meaning you're gonna have pizza at least once a week. That being said, it goes from 3.5 euros till 10, let's say, one pizza, it depends on the restaurant. And considering that fast food is around maybe 8 euros, I'm talking about the whole menu, of course, then you can spend less. And that a restaurant can be, let's say, 25 euros per person minimum. A study proved that on average, one person spends 250 euros per month. Then, of course, it depends on the kind of life that you're living. Like if you go to the restaurant every day, that's gonna be way more expensive, while if you are on a budget, maybe you don't go out at all, you don't even eat pizza. So of course those are things that always need to be considered. And also keep in mind that south is usually cheaper than the north. But that being said, my tip is, no matter where you are, to go and look for markets. We have markets, I mercati, every morning, every day of the week. There are markets, you just need to find out where. If you're in a small city, there is the possibility that they only hold that once or twice a week, but there has to be one, okay? And if you go there, it's gonna be cheaper and things are fresher as well. And lastly, let's talk about entertainment. Let's say that you wanna go to the cinema. Il cinema, andare al cinema, will cost you about 7 euros, 7 to 8 just for the ticket. And if it's 3D or something, 10 euros. And I'm not talking about any discounts here, okay? Just the regular ticket. While if you're going to a museum, that's also about 10 euros, right? Here my tip is to look for not even coupons, even though there are some, but just for the days. For the cinema, usually it's Wednesday, but for museums, depending on the city, in my city, for example, in Turin, the first Tuesday of the month, they're free. So that's my tip there. Just gather information, just check. Go to the info point in your city, check online. There are always days when there are discounts. Discounts, by the way, which is another important word if we were talking about budget, is sconti. Sconti. So let's try to sum the expenses, le spese, spese. If we have affitto, we said 600 euros, but let's say you are gonna split it with someone. So let's say 300 euros. Then we add 100 for bills, okay? Quindi affitto 300 euro. Plus 100 euro per le spese, for utilities, 400, right? 400. Let's say 50 euro, 50 euros for transportations, and 250 for food, 250 cibo, and let's add 100 for entertainments, so divertimenti. With this only, we're about 800 euros, right? We're around 800 euros, 800 euro. But we're not counting any expenses for daily life and, let's say, clothes, and if you need to buy books for school or anything else, right? So we're just talking about the bare minimum, 800 euros, and salaries are usually around, let's say, 1,200, 1,200, starting at, it should. Then sometimes it's even less, and I'm talking about a full time. So yeah, this is just a general idea. Then of course there are many variants that have to be considered, but let's say that to live in Italy you need at least 800 euros a month, 800 euro al mese. Although there are many other details that can be considered, I hope this video gave you a general idea and some useful vocabulary for your life in Italy, for your vita in Italia. And if you want to learn more useful expressions for your future life in Italy, make sure to subscribe and sign up for your free lifetime account on ItalianPod101.com. Thank you for watching, grazie, and I hope to see you soon. Ci vediamo presto. Ciao ciao, bye bye.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how to learn a language in 2022. If you're planning to learn a language in 2022, then this episode is for you, especially if you want to finally succeed with your New Year's resolution, instead of failing or giving up in the next week or two. That's why today you'll discover 1. The 4 critical steps you need to take when learning a new language, and 2. How to set goals and New Year's resolutions that won't fail you in 2022. But first, if you're looking for some free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Using Opposites Conversation Cheat Sheet. With this new cheat sheet, you'll learn common opposite adjectives like near and far, hot and cold, and grammar rules on how to use these words in a sentence. Second, the How to Say Goodbye PDF Writing Workbook. With this printable PDF, you'll pick up some common parting greetings and be able to practice writing them out. Third, can you talk about cars in your target language? Learn how to say words like tire, windshield, headlights, and more with this quick vocab bonus. Fourth, must know words and phrases for public transportation. Learn how to say ticket, bus, train, and much more with this quick 1-minute lesson. Fifth, the 10 habits of highly effective language learners. Wondering which habits will help you succeed with language learning? Then check out this free lesson. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How to learn a language in 2022. Part 1. The 4 critical steps you need to take when learning a new language. Every time you start a new language, you should start with 1. Goals, 2. Anchor points, 3. Grammar, 4. Reading. What are these 4 steps, and why do you need them to succeed with language learning? Let's jump in. The first one is goals. Everything starts with a goal, but your goal itself can also lead you to failure if you don't set it the right way. So more specifically, you need to set small, measurable monthly goals instead of just, I want to learn a language and be fluent this year. We'll cover goals in the second part of this episode, so stay tuned. After goals, the second step is setting anchor points. What are anchor points? Imagine a small ship in the middle of a big lake. It's windy, lots of waves, and the ship is bobbing up and down, drifting all around. What would you use to stop the ship from drifting away? An anchor. And just like an anchor keeps the ship in place, anchor points keep you from drifting away from your language. So an anchor point is a connection to the language that keeps you attached to the language and motivated to learn the language. One great example is language school. Imagine you signed up and paid thousands of dollars up front. Paying that much would motivate you to make the most of your time there. It's also a big commitment, one that you can't easily back out of. And school dictates your schedule. You have to wake up early, you have to do homework. Your life revolves around the classes. And as such, language school and the language itself become anchor points that your life revolves around. Anchor points can also be family or a partner that speaks the language you're learning. You're around them, you're exposed to the language, so your motivation to learn gets a bit stronger. Buying a language learning program or textbook are also examples of good anchor points. You invested your hard-earned money, which means you're serious about learning. Plus, you want to make sure your investment doesn't go to waste, so you're more motivated. If you're wondering if you have any anchor points, you already have at least one. You're watching our lessons on YouTube, but the more anchor points you have, the stronger your motivation will be. So if you're into music or TV shows in your target language, those can serve as anchor points too. These are things that connect you to the language and add a bit of motivation to learn more, or at the very least, understand what you're watching or listening to. We covered goals and anchor points. What's next? The third step is you must have a good grasp of grammar of your native language. Now, you might wonder, if you're learning a new language, why focus on your native language? Well, as native speakers, the problem is we know what good grammar sounds like, but we can't explain how or why our language works the way it works. So if you don't have a good grasp of grammar, the backbone or the rules of a language, then you'll have a tough time learning a new language. You'll jump in and start learning words and phrases, but you'll never learn how to put them together and make sentences. That's a common problem beginners have. Now, if you already know the grammar of your native language, how do you apply that to your target language? For example, if you're an English speaker, and if you know that English sentences follow the subject, verb, object pattern, and if you know that languages have specific sentence patterns, then you'd go look at patterns. Then you'd have a good idea of how to create your own sentences, instead of learning random words first. Finally, the fourth step is reading. Reading is good simply because you can do it anywhere, anytime, and without a teacher. It's a skill you can get started on day one, on your own. Reading also tends to spill over into other areas. The more you read, the more words and grammar rules you come across, so you boost your vocabulary and grammar, which can seep into speaking and listening. If you read out loud, you're practicing two skills at once. Now, we've covered what you need: goals, anchor points, reading, and grammar. Setting anchor points, knowing your own grammar, and reading are simple enough, but how do you set goals that don't lead you to failure? Part 2. How to set goals and New Year's resolutions that won't fail you in 2022. The goal that you set can make or break your language learning journey, so setting the right goals makes all the difference between success and failure. Just think about all of the common New Year's resolutions. What comes to mind? Goals like, I want to be fluent someday. I want to speak the language. I want to lose weight. I want to save more money. These big, vague goals often lead to failure because you simply have no idea how to approach the goal and you don't know what you're aiming for. Instead, your goals should be small, measurable, and monthly. For example, speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of the month. Learn 100 words by the end of the month. Finish chapter 1 of your language textbook by the end of the month. If you're using our program, finish 20 audio lessons by the end of the month. All of these are small and specific. 1 minute, 100 words, 1 chapter, 20 audio lessons. This means that they're easy to reach, unlike something vague like fluency. They're also measurable. You know when you reach 1 minute. You can check if you know all 100 words or if you finished all 20 lessons. If you aim for fluency, you won't know when you hit it. It's too vague and too big of a goal, and it may take years to hit. Finally, all of these goals have a deadline, the end of the month. That would mean January 31st of this year. Deadlines give you a clear date to aim for, and without one, you'll forever be floating around without much progress. So set a deadline for the end of every month. So now that you know how to set small, measurable monthly goals, leave us a comment. What's your small, measurable monthly goal, and what's the deadline? So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Eleonora. Quasi sicuramente tutti conoscete il Natale, ma sapete che in Italia è la festa più importante di tutto l'anno? Il Natale è soprattutto una festa cattolica. Infatti coincide con la nascita di Gesù Cristo, ma in realtà questa festività ha delle origini molto più antiche. Inoltre oggi anche chi non è credente festeggia. In questa lezione parleremo di come l'Italia organizza e festeggia il Natale. Sapete perché in Italia prima di Natale il prezzo del pesce aumenta spaventosamente? Vi daremo la risposta alla fine di questo video. Nelle case degli italiani i preparativi per il Natale iniziano molto prima del 25 dicembre. Di solito è tradizione addobbare l'albero, un abete finto o vero, già dall'8 dicembre. In molte case, soprattutto del sud Italia, oltre all'albero si prepara anche il presepe, una rappresentazione della nascita di Gesù. Ci sono varie tradizioni di presepe, ma la più famosa è quella di Napoli. Pensate che in via San Gregorio Armeno, c'è un mercato permanente del presepe che si può visitare durante tutto l'anno. In molte città del nord Italia, invece, vengono organizzati i cosiddetti mercatini di Natale, dall'8 dicembre al 6 gennaio. Tra i più famosi ci sono quelli di Trento e Bolzano, dove è possibile comprare addobbi, regali e dolci di tutti i tipi. Tra i dolci di Natale più tradizionali c'è il torrone, un dolce semplice ma squisito, fatto con albume d'uovo, zucchero, miele, mandorle, nocciole e pistacchi. Per gli italiani il momento più importante del Natale è la cena della vigilia. Di solito tutti tornano a casa dei genitori per mangiare insieme e aspettare la mezzanotte. La cena è quasi sempre a base di pesce. Il piatto più caratteristico è il baccalà. Tra i dolci invece ci sono il panettone, un dolce di Milano, e il pandoro, un dolce di Verona. A mezzanotte, finalmente, avviene lo scambio di regali sotto l'albero di Natale. Questo, senz'altro, è il momento più atteso dai bambini italiani. Da molti anni gli italiani, oltre al panettone, sono molto appassionati anche di cinepanettone, un tipo di film comico e poco impegnativo, prodotto ogni anno in occasione delle vacanze invernali. E ora vi darò la risposta al quiz iniziale. Sapete perché in Italia, prima di Natale, il prezzo del pesce aumenta spaventosamente? Perché è l'alimento più ricercato. Infatti, secondo la tradizione cattolica, il 24 dicembre, in segno di rispetto a Gesù nato in povertà, sarebbe meglio digiunare e soprattutto non mangiare la carne. Com'era questa lezione? Avete imparato qualcosa di interessante? Anche nel vostro paese il Natale è una festa importante? Lasciateci un commento sul sito italianpod101.com. Arrivederci alla prossima!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.